I still don't get it. Why is Five Nights at Freddy's, of all things, appearing in pivotal moments of my childhood? I remember this grave. On my 12th birthday, I received a pellet gun, and the first thing I did with it was shoot and kill a squirrel. And out of guilt and remorse, I buried it in my backyard. No. What does it mean? So I just got done reading Five Nights at Freddy's, The Twisted Ones. Just like with The Silver Eyes, I'm going to look at the book from two angles. One, how it is as a book, and two, how it is as a Faz book. Because it's important to recognize that art needs to be able to stand on its own, independent from the property it's attached to. A year after the traumatic events at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, Charlie is looking to move on with her life, but the past is unwilling to let go. And the present is faring no better as corpses begin turning up in abandoned fields around her college campus bearing familiar wounds. As Charlie re-enters the world she wished to have left behind, she uncovers a conspiracy deeper than she ever knew, and secrets more horrible than she ever could have imagined. The first notable thing about The Twisted Ones is that it is about 100 pages shorter than The Silver Eyes, with the same brisk pace and font layout. I seriously started this book one evening, went to bed, woke up the next morning, and finished it. I think the one thing we can all agree on is that this experience was a quick one. What are the book's positives? Well, for one, the cast of characters has been cut about in half, which I appreciated. I thought the side characters got a bit superfluous in The Silver Eyes, so it was good to have some more focus this time around. Charlie's given more development this time around rather than just her backstory, as she's beginning to embody her father's traits, for better or for worse. The obsession with her work, the interest in robotics, the fascination with imitating life in the lifeless, all good stuff. I also vibe with the mystery element espoused in the first half of the book. Mutilated bodies in fields, freshly disturbed graves, these new freaky robots that seemed specifically designed to kill. I was having fun with it. Keyword, was. There are several ideas introduced in this book that just don't go anywhere. For example, I was really enjoying the framing device of Dr. Treadwell's robotics classes, where she discusses kind of the logic behind perception and pattern recognition. I thought it was going to lead to some greater theme about the difference between reality and illusion and all that, but instead it just leads to illusion discs, I guess. Illusion discs. Those two little robots that Charlie's working on that have these genuinely creepy, half-baked conversations with each other, yeah, those don't go anywhere either. There's also this side sequence where Clay explains how he and his wife divorced after she found out that he had salvaged the original animatronics, brought them into the basement, and was spending his nights trying to get them to talk to him. I remember reading that and thinking, wow, this would make for a great side plot if it weren't relegated to an exposition dump. Seriously, I'd rather read an entire book about that than whatever the hell the climax was. Oh yeah. The climax. No joke, I had to reread the climax 3 times just to understand what was going on. You know how some people say that writers will throw whatever ideas they have at the wall and see what sticks? This was if Scott Cawthon's brain exploded and they scraped the brain matter and the skull shards off the wall and turned that into the climax. You have all these illusions, holograms, mascots, creatures of unknown origin, all the animatronics duke it out in some big robot battle royale. Springtrap shows up for like 5 minutes, and then all these cliffhangers are just plopped into your lap like carpet bombs at the end. It was insanity, and not in a good way. I felt like I was reading some like sugar high 11-year-old's fan fiction.
Balloon Boy shows up. Now there's lots of Balloon Boys. And there's a monkey, a bird, a waterfall, and Springtrap's there too. All the animatronics, they fight each other in some big epic battle, and
I tend to tune out young adult isms like cheesy romance or characters not acting like real people for the sake of a plot. I mean, what else was I expecting? It's young adult fantasy horror. Things just don't have to make sense all the time. I mean, call it a personal taste thing, but it's just not my thing. Like the Silver Eyes, I managed to accomplish that with the Twisted Ones, except for one part. Early on, Charlie keeps remarking that she's been doing sit-ups, I guess? And I remember reading that and thinking, oh, please don't come back around in the end and be totally stupid.
uh-oh, how unfortunate.
That was the first time in a long time I have ever audibly groaned when reading a book. I fail to understand how authors, paid career writers, can just put things like that in a book and not think, oh wow, this is total cringe. So yeah, as a book, I was invested at first, but I soon became unimpressed and annoyed. But of course, there's more to this book than just overstuffed young adult mystery horror. If The Silver Eyes was a sequel to FNAF 1 with elements of 2 and 3 as flavor enhancers, this book was like Sister Location thrown into a food processor and then dumped on a plate with 2, 3, and 4 as garnish, I guess. It should go without saying that at this point, the book's continuity compared to the games has just jumped off the rails, and if you're not along for the ride, you're just gonna drive yourself insane. They're doing their own thing at this point. Let's just accept that. So the Twisted animatronics are supposed to be like this universe's interpretation of the Funtime animatronics. I mean, they were designed by Afton. Their jaws unhinge. They were designed to capture children. They have holding chambers in them. I mean, these things are clearly inspired or like some kind of prototype at the very least. And the underground pizzeria is similar to Circus Baby's entertainment and rental with the presence of Balloon Boy as kind of like the FNAF 2 zest. And as for the illusion discs being present in the games, that's a theory, a game theory, but it still doesn't change the connection between the Twisteds and the Funtimes. The official art for the Twisted's illusionary forms has striking similarities to the Nightmare animatronics. Whether there's supposed to be a link there, I don't know. But considering the pre-existing links between 4 and 5, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of bleed over between the illusions and the nightmares our FNAF 4 protagonist is having. I still stand by what I said in my Silver Eyes reviews, where the books are kind of like supporting documents that might give helpful details rather than straight up canon. I think that's the most we're gonna get out of them. Otherwise, the story's just doing its own thing, and I don't see how this is gonna tie in with FNAF 6 in the end. Now I just have to read The Fourth Closet because I just have to see how it all ends, in spite of my irritation with the Twisted Ones. Especially considering all those aforementioned carpet-bombed cliffhangers. So Afton admits that he actually did kidnap Charlie. So who's Charlie? Does this all have something to do with that Tracy Horton lady they kept harping on in the middle of the book? Does it have to do with Sammy? Was there even a Sammy? Is Charlie Sammy? Now, I will admit this. I do remember binging Matt Pat's FNAF videos years ago when they were first coming out. And if the answer is what I think I remember it is, well, time to finally break this book's spine. Figuratively. Although it might be literally, depending how much the answer pisses me off.